Alright, watch this. I'm gonna give you two concepts you couldn't imagine not going together. BlackJupiter, Ancient Random. Okay. Now here's two concepts that you shudder to imagine going together. Kingdom Hearts 4, Marvel. Well, would you look at that? 2025 is almost here, and our links are still missing, and Square Enix is still pretending like they totally didn't forget the login to their Unreal Engine 5 account. So I do what every Kingdom Hearts fan does in that meantime, and I sit and brain rot about what little content we do have. That said, the wait hasn't been as egregious for me as it may have been for others. I mean, I'm a World NTWEWY fan. Waiting for Square Enix to give me news every millennia is just par for the course. So I'm sure many of you recall, but Star Wars is about 99.815% confirmed for Kingdom Hearts 4. That is an ATST foot, and that is a big Star Wars fan. Also, he's the director of the game. Yeah, no shot he isn't including Star Wars the first chance he gets. Which, frankly, is this game. I know a lot of people have their reservations about Star Wars being in Kingdom Hearts, for insert a long list of reasons here. It doesn't fit, it wasn't created by Disney, Star Wars' world is just too big, what if Star Wars fans smell weird, I don't want more of them in this community. And all those reasons can and probably will be tossed aside in favor of the Nomura thinks it's cool logic. But Star Wars isn't the only hot topic world that people are nervous about being in Kingdom Hearts 4. Marvel Comics, our good friend who dominated the film industry in the 2010s, and then nobody really came to take its place afterward, and we're only just now starting to recover from that. Marvel's been on people's minds a lot lately with the release of the very popular Marvel Rivals, a game that I have not played, but I have been watching a frick ton of Daredevil recently, so the Marvel brain rot has also hit me, don't worry. Anyway, people really don't like the idea of a Kingdom Hearts boss fight against Kingpin's car door. And by that I mean people really don't want to Marvel in Kingdom Hearts. And yeah, I get why, it's basically all the same reasons as Star Wars. Heck, you could argue that Marvel fits even less well since it isn't centered around space combat and the concept of light versus dark. Up until the past few weeks, if you were to ask me, I would probably be pretty indifferent on the idea. It certainly wouldn't be in my top 10 picks for Worlds, but if it happened, I'd still be pre-ordering the deluxe edition for the game the second it was available. If you hadn't noticed, I'm generally pretty open to oddball concepts that don't seem to quite work on paper. Wow, don't you love Kingdom Hearts? That said, I will be honest, the idea that Marvel or Star Wars somehow don't fit in Kingdom Hearts never fully clicked in my head. It's Kingdom flipping Hearts. If you feel like something wouldn't fit within this world, then did you just get too used to Donald Duck wielding a wizard staff and teaming up with an anime OC? This franchise is built in the idea of throwing together styles that wouldn't otherwise belong together and making something brand new out of that. And with every mainline game, they make sure to keep pushing that idea forward. To me, Kingdom Hearts is a series that should never get too comfortable with what's allowed to happen in it. You really should never know what you're going to run into next. No matter how deep you get in, it should always still feel kinda weird and strange. But we're gonna put all that aside. I don't quite love discussing whether or not an idea is good or bad. Instead, screw that and let's just skip ahead to what if it's happening anyway. Gun to your head, how do you make it work? Often I find that in creative work, saving thinking about if you should or shouldn't do something until after you've already decided what the best way to do it is can make you realize that it was all a much better idea than you had otherwise thought originally. So because only one of us is speaking right now, because of course you haven't commented yet before finishing the video, how would I cram Marvel into Kingdom Hearts 4? Now, I'll be transparent. I'm a fairly big Marvel fan. I can't say that I know the comics super well, but I read enough every now and then to pretend like I do. Seeing Harry Osborn be the person to tell Peter that with great power comes great responsibility is one of my favorite recent Spider-Man memories, so maybe that gives me some kind of credibility, maybe? But I want to say that when most people think of Marvel, and specifically Marvel and Kingdom Hearts, they think about the Avengers, or more broadly, just the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Makes sense, Kingdom Hearts usually bases their worlds off of movies, and if you had to pick a Marvel movie that best encapsulates the idea of Marvel movie, 2012's The Avengers fits that bill. But then that doesn't really seem to fit. I mean, who's the party member? Iron Man? Captain America? Both? Will Sora say the word America? That feels like a nature taboo. What about Thor? I'd argue that he's just as worthy to be a party member. And are you really gonna be representing that movie without representing the Battle of New York? Because we already have a big metropolitan city in Shibuya. I and many others don't love this idea. But while the Avengers are Marvel, Marvel is not the Avengers. In fact, I'd argue that Marvel itself is not so much of a franchise as it is a collection of franchises. So to think that Kingdom Hearts just has to use the MCU Avengers movie is just a little silly to me, since Marvel is way more than that. In fact, non-MCU Marvel's already been in Kingdom Hearts. I'm sure many of you already know, but also if you don't, I wouldn't be surprised. Big Hero 6 is a Marvel movie. Look, there's your Stan Lee cameo. I'm fairly certain that though Disney owns Marvel, they went and took a step further and took the rights to the Big Hero 6 franchise specifically and made that solely Disney-owned, because Disney basically never acknowledges that this was loosely based on a few Marvel comic lines. But when someone says I don't want Marvel in Kingdom Hearts, you can give them the hardest actually and tell them that it's been in for 10 years now. But my point is that Marvel doesn't have to mean the MCU Avengers, and they're not even the best pick for Kingdom Hearts anyway. So what would I choose? Well, I got 3 picks for you in order of least to most wanted. But first, 2 guidelines. I gave these to myself to avoid the issues from Avengers. I want a series that is centered around 1 or 2 protagonists for the sake of a party, and I want a series that has a distinct and large location that could be used as a setting for the world. A setting that also isn't New York, or another metropolitan city. And also preferably isn't space, since if we're going to the stars, we're going for a war. This does unfortunately get rid of the Guardians of the Galaxy as a world, because that would have otherwise been my top pick for an MCU world. But it also gets rid of X-Men. I love me some X-Men, but who the heck is the party member? Wolverine? If this was Kingdom Hearts 2, the X-Mansion and the Danger Room wouldn't make a bad world, but in KH4, not a shot. And there are X-Men locations that would make for a good open Kingdom Hearts world, but none of them really feel like the X-Men location to me. As much as I would kill for an Apocalypse boss fight, like you have no idea. Okay, so what do I want? Pick rank 3, Thor/Asgard. For this one, I'd kinda rather base it off the comics, honestly. I don't know if that's actually on the table or not, but getting a very comic booky, vibrant color world would make the Marvel world stick out, and if you want comic book weirdness, Thor's not a bad pick. Thor himself is an easy pick for a party member, and there's several villains that you can pick for a good boss. Loki's the obvious one, but Hela or Surtur would be pretty sick too. Also, Sora can 100% lift Thor's hammer, but more importantly, I have a hunch that Goofy can. I will not be elaborating. Bonus mention for the Loki TV series, I guess? I think the TVA fit pretty well, especially if you can fight them and bye them as Sora. Also, Loki would be a cool party member. There is absolutely no way they're using Kang, but I have a different idea for that. That I'll talk about in a minute. For now, my second rank pick, Black Panther. Centralized character, check. Distinct and unique looking world, it's harder to get more iconic than Wakanda. In this case, I'd actually be super down to base it on the live action movie. Give me a Killmonger boss fight, please. I think the biggest hiccup is that Black Panther's actor, Chadwick Boseman, famously passed away several years ago, and Disney still seems to be a little hesitant on using T'Challa as a result, I think? I'm mainly going off of X-Men 97 on that one, but that might have just been the one show, I'm not sure. Anyway, if the world was based off the movie, then it would make sense that the character would be directly modeled off the actor. So if the world isn't right to do out of respect, that's cool with me, but I do also think that the world would go very hard. Vibranium Keyblade, I mean, come on. And now my number 1 pick. In my mind, this is sort of the obvious pick for Marvel and Kingdom Hearts instead of Avengers. There is no bigger character in Marvel's roster than Spider-Man. I mean, look at him, he's so cool. But wait, isn't he a New York character? Yes, but that's not quite what I want. I genuinely don't know if this one is at all feasible, but I'd love for the world to be based on Across the Spider-Verse. Nueva York, and more specifically the Spider Society, would be a peak world. I don't care if the boss is against 2099 or the Spot, both would go hard. The art style would be popping off, Sora and Miles teaming up is everything that I need to achieve true happiness. That and another spectacular cameo, please. If you happen to be watching Across the Spider-Verse in theaters and there was just like one weirdo in the theater clapping for this guy, that was me. Okay, yeah, I know this pick is dicey as heck because Disney did not make that movie, nor do they own the guys that did. But I know Nomura loves the movie. Has he said that? No, but who doesn't love Spider-Verse? I am just assuming here, but Nomura's really good at pulling the right strings to do weird stuff like this, or Kingdom Hearts wouldn't be what it currently is. So I think it's not impossible. Rights issues haven't been known to ever permanently stop this man. And hey, he can turn this as an opportunity to throw in the Spider-Man outfit that he designed somewhere in there. This is probably the most pipe dreamiest of worlds, but gosh dang, do I want a Spider-Verse world in Kingdom Hearts so freaking bad. Sora's already crossing realities in Cage 4, it's perfect. Like, genuinely. Maybe I'm so incredibly off base with this, and if I am, leave a comment. But how many people who say that they would dislike a Marvel world in Kingdom Hearts 4 feel like they would dislike a Spider-Verse world in Kingdom Hearts 4? Because as an animated movie, it feels way closer to what we already have than most other Marvel movies. It just has the sticking point of not being made by Disney. Like, at all. Now, I do want to give another honorable mention, because there's one character that I would probably want in Kingdom Hearts over any other Marvel character. I don't think that his franchise quite clicks because it doesn't follow the 2 centralized characters at max rule that I gave myself, but I need this guy in the game. Maybe it's Fortnite recency bias, but Dr. Doom. I know he just recently got cast as Robert Downey Jr., but we're gonna ignore that and focus on the more traditional Doom. The second that the Kingdom Hearts plot gets within 10 miles of Doom, he's gonna get involved. Once he learns that Keyblades are a thing, he will be getting his own and then very quickly going to have a word with the Master of Masters. He would get that black box before Maleficent does somehow, and she already knows where it is. In my opinion, Kingdom Hearts is at its purest form when non-original characters get themselves involved in the original plot. And I'd wager that no character in Marvel's roster is more fit to do that than Victor Von Doom. Also, if he's really just gonna be our Kang replacement in the MCU, then you could just make the final boss of TVA world's Doom instead of Kang, why not? If the world is gonna be based on Loki, then the story would obviously need to be different, but it could still be fun. Not like Kingdom Hearts is any stranger to creative liberties. And like I said, I'm not super sure that a Fantastic Four world would work amazingly, so this feels like a good way to have your cake and eat it too. Or just do like a Doom secret boss, like, yeah, Doom, he's the new Sephiroth. That definitely won't make anyone upset. Bonus points if you sneak Galactus or something in gummy space. Okay, I'm done now. I don't super care if you think more Marvel should or shouldn't be in Kingdom Hearts, but y'all are gonna talk about it anyway, so oh well. But I do want to hear how you would play it if you had to include it in Kingdom Hearts 4 somehow. What franchise would you pick for your world? Would it be based on any pre-existing Marvel adaptation? Do you want to see a Marvel Rivals Kingdom Hearts world? Or do you want to get even more creative and find a role for Marvel that isn't a world visit? Tell me it all. You have nothing better to do since the Kingdom Hearts news cycle is looking pretty barren these days. Also, hey, did you know that Bacon Insert Noun, Kaiser, Willpower 784, Wonderland Snack, The Missing Samurai, and Venforia were all voted most likely to be really cool people in high school? Just like collectively, they all tied. I guess they all also went to the same high school. Hope all of y'all enjoyed your holidays, and I will see you in the new year. And yes, that is a threat.